Big doings today. A starter replacement. Let's talk about a starter. Starter usually, in majority of cars, is a very simple process. 2 bolts. I've really rarely seen a starter with 3 bolts. 2 bolts, 2 wires. One of them usually bolted down, big wire, and one small wire. That's it. May have to remove a few covers, take the starter out, put the new one in, have a nice day. Except when you have this car. This is a 100 series Land Cruiser with the best Toyota V8 they ever made. They ever will make. Well, they don't make V8s anymore. This is, it needs a starter. Doesn't actually need a starter. If you look here, we got a starter and an alternator. The gentleman that owns this car, beautiful car, it's rust-free. We did some work on it when he first bought it. The gentleman that owns this car takes it on really far away trips in the middle of nowhere, camping and whatnot. So he doesn't want to get stranded with a 20-plus-year-old starter. So he just wants to do a precaution. This, unlike 90% of cars, is not just 2 bolts and, well, technically it is. See, this starter is also held by 2 bolts, 2 wires, and you take it out. The only problem is the location. Let me show you. This is a 3UZ This is out of an LS430. And where do you think the starter is? If you're not familiar with these engines, let's look on this side. That's not where the starter is. How about the other side? That is also not where the starter is. The starter actually, if you come around and let Jose come around here, I'll point it out. The starter is right here. You see there's 2 14mm bolts somewhere here. Long, strange looking bolts. They're right here. This one and the other one on the other side. This one. That holds the starter, which sits underneath the intake manifold. Here's the beauty of this. Everyone that talks about the V8, Toyota V8 starter under the intake manifold, assumes that removing the intake manifold is the tough part. That is the easy part. Because this manifold, as complicated as it looks, is a one-piece manifold. You just pull the bolts and it comes out, few harness, whatever, and comes out. Not a big deal at all. Pretty heavy, the steel ones at least, or the aluminum ones. The problem is, let me pull this engine out a little bit. The problem is, to get to these 2 bolts, you have the car in the way. So you have to really get crafty on how you're going to loosen these bolts, take them out. You can't take them out all the way. You just loosen them off the starter, pull the starter, do your thing, put it back, and let's pop the hood and let's take a look so you can get an idea. This is the best engine they ever made. They will never make any engine, not the 22RE, not the 2JZ, nothing comes close to how good this engine is. Until you have to do a starter. Let's take a look. Granted, the Land Cruiser does give you a little bit more room in the back. But still, you're crawling all the way over the car to get these 2 bolts. Now, if they were to put it right there, for example, look at this. If they put it right there, that would have been great. But no. All joking aside, and folks will always say, you know, mechanics and engineers don't get along. We don't get along. But here's what actually happened. Folks complained so much about this V8 and the location of the starter that I feel like the engineers, when they were designing the next V8 that followed this, the UR series, they had their revenge. Because, okay, you guys complain about that location? Well, let's put it in a worse place. Right underneath the exhaust manifold, you have to remove it almost to get the starter. So I'll take this over a UR series starter. Having said that, in today's video, you're going to watch us just full-on blown struggle to get this out and replace it. And then maybe if we have time, we'll do the alternator. Alternator is not bad at all. Looks 10 times more complicated than it is, but with just luck, my back is not happy right now, but we'll get through it. We've been through worse. Let's get to it. To make my life easier, before we start, I'm going to lift the car up, and this is something, if you have a lift, small tip. We're gonna lift the car up, take the front wheels, lower it so it will kind of nose down in the front so we can access things easier, because I'm short and this car is tall and my back is not having it after 8 hours of work. So let's do that. And that is much better, don't you think? See how especially if you're doing like a timing belt, you have a lift, now you have full access, you're not kind of crawling over it. Having said that, let us start removing some of these covers. Remove this, air filter housing and whatnot, and we'll get started. So from the feedback we got from you guys from the last video, where we did the Tundra kind of, what do you call it, Jose? ASMR or something like that. We got mixed feedback. So we have made an executive decision of trying a hybrid of the two, not in this particular video, but you will see a video of both at the same time. But this one, I think, what do you think, Jose? Is it more fun just to watch me suffer in real life, in like live? And Jose agrees. Of course he does. Of course he does. I always say this to the guys. Sometimes, you know, they're working on a car, it's complicated, and they're like, oh my God, this is not going well. I usually tell them, I would gladly swap you for the next disaster that I'm working on. This one is not, but, you know, we are in the 9th hour onwards. So this is, we usually film at the end of the day when work hours are done. Got a little idle hose here. This is a beautiful car. We've worked on it before. It's completely rust-free. And they spend a long time trying to find it. I remember that because we did, if I'm not mistaken, we did a pre-purchase inspection on this, or we were supposed to do it on another car, then they didn't like it when they went to see it. So it was a little bit of a back and forth, but eventually they found this one. It did really well. The only thing with this car is at the time, it needed some maintenance. Second timing belt was due. Just have miles, not low mileage. I think maybe now it has over 200. When we did the timing belt, it was 186. But good owner, because he knows what this is, looked specifically for it, and really takes care of it. It's pristine. I mean, they do go camping and whatnot in this, so you expect a car like this, you know, to get all muddy and dirty and whatnot. No, not this one. And do we have another bolt? We do, yes we do. I'm forgetting. All right, let's take that. Throttle body, let's take a look. Not terrible, but not great. So we're actually going to clean it as well while we're here. So to do the starter, you just got to remove the manifold and just take the starter out, replace it, and that's it. We're done. Simple, right? Yeah. Gotta say, of course, this is YouTube. We can cheat. This is potentially one of the lesser aggravating ones, if you would. But still, it will test you. That's the word. It will really test you. So we're going to take this throttle cable. You don't want to adjust these too much, because this is actually an adjustment. I'd like to take the whole bracket. That way the bracket is also out of our way. If you have any newer UZ, you're not going to have this. This is actually only on the Land Cruiser that they had this strange design. So yeah, I don't need to remove this bracket. I do have to remove this hose, which is very brittle. I think this one's gonna break. Is it gonna break? No, it didn't break. That's cool. There's that cable out of the way. We probably should disconnect this battery at this point, because I don't want to be worrying about a what do you call it? Catch the car on fire wire hanging loose. The one by the starter. Whenever you work on a car, you don't. I see sometimes folks will do DIY stuff and they'll take both of them off. You just need the negative. That's about all we need. I forgot what we are doing. What are we doing, Jose? Starter. There we go. It's been a long day, folks. Let's put it this way. But love every moment of it, but doesn't come easy. It's, I always tell the guys, this is a difficult job as it is. Let's not make it more difficult on ourselves. Yeah, don't break, don't break. I think it didn't break. Find out. Then there's the matter of this harness, which is, yeah, I am dreading this because this is a rock. I feel like we're going to end up having to replace these, but only one way forward. Forward. Some of you will be saying, why don't I remove that clamp? If you remove this clamp, the minute you pull this hose, it'll just split wide open. Now, can we replace this hose? Probably. Knowing the owner of this car, we're probably going to end up replacing these, but you can't just replace everything in your way. If you can save some stuff, that would be nice. I know this one is good because we replaced it. It's a newer hose and a newer PCV valve. I think we did valve cover gaskets on this. Now, this one, very high on the this will break list. We're on to something, Jose. Things are not breaking that are very old and brittle. That's good. Let's see, what do we got? I probably don't have to remove this. Wrong socket, but I will, just to give us a little bit more room. The more room, the better. Okay, what do we got? We have to remove this harness, and then I will leave the fuel line, which is this one, last. I don't want to make a giant mess. I think I may have, you know, here's the thing. I need a break. That's my back, it's killing me. Since I bought this toolbox, which you guys have seen when we did the tour, half of my tools, I don't know where they are. Because we're still adjusting, it's so busy. And certain like specific tiny little tools, I don't know where I put. We're work in progress, work in progress. And the best answer is sometimes one of the techs will ask me, hey, I am looking for this tool. Do you know where it is? I'm like, I know where it was in the blue box. I don't know where it is right now. Let's go look. So, yeah. Still a little embarrassed by it. It's just a little excessive, but it is genuinely full, except these 4 upper drawers that I think are useless because they're shallow. But yeah. So here's what we have to do. We have to disconnect all injectors. Okay, I'm going to pull, you see the injector rail right here? That is attached to the intake manifold, so that's going to come with it. On this side, this is not doing anything. It's just broken. I think this is just broken. Let's find out. No, that works. Okay. Wow. It's actually not broken. Okay, it is broken. So it won't clip on. There's nothing to clip onto. And then there's another one of these, which this one is completely broken. Expected that. You see it right here. This is completely broken. That's typical. Fortunately, some of these you can get them, but not all of them. I wish I would replace every single one of them. I'm trying to find some alternatives for things like that. Let's disconnect the injectors, which are okay. Really try not to break any of these connectors because they are old. Okay, that's good. Okay, good. Okay, wow, miracles do happen. I spoke too soon, we still have 4 more. Okay, let's try the other side. This side is a little bit tighter. Okay, good. So, let's try some of the fancy tools we've been buying. I gotta say one thing. I'm a little on the old school side, and old dog don't like new tricks, I guess. This is a tool by Lyle. Supposedly it helps with connectors. Oh, that actually works. Cool. Didn't buy a tool for nothing. Except it doesn't fit where you need it to go. No, it does. That's not good. That is not a good sound. I think we can still salvage that one. Should be okay. There's this harness. Okay, let's rescue this harness a little bit to give us a little bit more room. We won't be able to go all the way, but at least something. This is not good. This is one of those connectors that are not available. That's what happens when you work on old cars. They're all brittle. I may have one. I'm gonna check on that. Probably do it at a later time. Now let's focus on the job at hand. I'm gonna pull this away, and this one. It's fuel. That is a fuel return line. Things will start smelling very nice pretty soon, Jose. Jose is already getting ready. Okay. I think let's pull the throttle body. Just kind of lay it down. We're not going to completely remove it. Just pull it forward. Find that guy later. So in the shield, there's a saying about bolts that you drop and it goes into somewhere where you can't find them. I have a policy. We're gonna give you 2 minutes. If I can't find you, we're gonna put another bolt, move on, because I have a thing. I don't know if you stop looking for something you lost, you'll find it. But if you keep looking for it, you're not going to find it. So that's the strange thing. So kind of like when you get frustrated with a car, walk away from it for 5 minutes and everything will go. Don't you love this gasket? It just has a little, all the UZ series will have something similar to that, except the ones with the plastic manifold. Okay, this manifold should be ready to be removed. So these manifolds will have a series of 12mm bolts, and I believe 2 or 4 nuts. I don't remember right now. So here's that nut. They're always like a strange looking nut, or the metal one. Also, since now I have more space and I can actually buy more tools, bought these. They're easy red, just organizers for stuff. Although I already put stuff in my box that are just, again, old school, not used to nice things. Here's the second nut. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have 4 nuts on this style. There's 2 in the very back, which means we have to deploy the best thing we ever found in the shop. This is who makes I forgot who makes this. Used to say it on it. Somebody, Home Depot. Oh, it says it right here. Gorilla Ladders. Yes, the names are interesting, but they work. The idea is, if you're working on a tall truck and you're short, you can just all of a sudden become tall. It's really nice. We're just gonna make sure we don't step on this radiator, although I know this radiator is newer because we replaced it. I believe it is 2 years old, something like that. But still. Here's the other nut, and see the last one. Right. Here's the last one. That's not it. Now we have all the bolts, but I do like to remove and reach that one. Here's this bolt. This bolt for intake manifolds. They'll have a hex in the middle. That's the thing with Toyota. Some newer ones don't do that anymore, but in the past, whenever you see a bolt like that, that's an intake manifold bolt. So where it fell. It's a little clumsy today. Well, it's not like that in the morning, but it's a little bit of a long day. Let's put it this way. We were beaten by a UX today. I feel bad for that one. So, while we take this bolt, you all watch me struggle. My back is not working today. We have a UX that came in, these front and rear brakes, and they had the calipers powder coated. Looks really nice, but fell on the ground. I heard it. But whoever powder coated them, of course they had to take the caliper out and do the whole 9 yards. They put the wrong pins in. So now when the pads are worn down, it's fine, but when you go to replace them, caliper won't go on. And that gave us a little fight because I just initially refused to believe that was the case until just put the two pins next to each other. One of them significantly longer than the other one. So that's when we realized. So initially, I thought something was wrong with the caliper because it just would not go. You put the old worn pads down, you can install the caliper, but you put the new ones, it won't go. Turns out the pins are wrong. The customer is pretty upset. They were really upset because apparently they just paid a small fortune to do that. But I told them, look, we're all humans. We all make mistakes. Let's just fix it. And if you want to bring it up to the guy, maybe he'll pay for the additional cost for the pins. But it's not the end of the world. It's only other thing. This is where he really got upset. Is this we're talking about rear brakes. This has that motor for the parking brake. One of the bolts, I guess they lost it and they put just a very long bolt with a big, it just looks horrible, but it works. So he was pretty upset about that part. So we're pretty much ready to pull this intake. I'm gonna just disconnect this fuel line. So this has a fuel filter, which means just do this, hopefully. Oh, it's not bad. What I'm gonna do is pull this fitting out. Emma, you can come out. Yeah, there it goes. That's what I was trying to avoid. Just making a giant mess. There we go. So if we put this fitting here, I have a little line plug. It's basically a dead plug. So yeah, there we go. That's not gonna leak anymore, hopefully. Okay, so in order to remove this, we have to pull this fuel line, rescue it from here to here, and somehow carefully get it underneath this And okay, this is gonna give us a fight. I already see it. We're gonna have to be careful. This fuel line. So we're gonna have to pull the manifold, move it to the side, and then hopefully that works. Let's find out. Okay, this is not gonna happen alone, me hanging like this. How about Jose, you put the camera on a stand or something and you give me a hand?
Can we put like a bolt on here so I can like...
There it is, hold it up. Ah, that's clamp. Okay, we're stuck on a clamp. And we claimed our first casualty. That sensor was, I think if we looked at it hard enough, it'll break. Let's just move it. Watch your fuel line, this fuel line right here. We actually need to move it this way. Okay. Hang on. All right. Hold on. Are we stuck on something? Yes, we have a ground. I forgot the ground. Let's set it down.
First.
Okay. Whew.
Yeah.
Do we have a ground? Yes, we do. Of course we do. Okay. We forgot a ground right here. Take this before it falls. Kind of dangerous right now because the intake is technically open. There we go. Okay. Now I can pull this manifold. We did claim a casualty. So rescue that from it. Thank you, Jose. I'm just gonna say one thing. The next time someone tells you, oh, I wish they still use these metal or aluminum intakes, they don't work on cars. I love the plastic stuff. It's lightweight. We've never had issues with Toyota Land. Maybe others have, but not Toyota Land. We never had issues with them. And they're much lighter, much more maneuverable. Here's a starter. Right there. Nice and simple. Not exactly. Land Cruiser, like I told you, we're slightly cheating. But the car cheated us because we claimed a casualty. This is a temp sensor, or was a temp sensor. Yeah, it's no longer a temp sensor. This broke. It literally just touched it and broke. And if you look, see the color right here? That was brittle. This was ready to go. Fortunately, we just helped it to early retirement. What we're going to do now is I'm going to remove the gaskets very carefully. We want to cover up the intake. I have seen so many, here we go. You see that disaster? That's a disaster right there. See that disaster? See that bolt? There it is. You would have lifted that gasket and you're not paying attention. Usually in shops, you got loud noise, music going, whatever. And this falls in, it's going to destroy this engine. These are the things you gotta watch for. I don't know what that bolt is for. It's not from what we're doing right now, but it's there. It's conveniently sitting there. You gotta watch for this stuff. I've actually seen a lot of UZ engines go down because of this simple mistake. It's not the engine's fault. We wouldn't count it as an engine came down, but let me clean these ports before we tape them up. We move on to the main event of the day, which is the hard part. This was not the hard part. This is actually the easy part. Just not pleasant, but just getting some of this crud out of the way. Maybe we use a vacuum is better. Okay, let's figure out how this vacuum works. Yes. Okay. Let's give this a clean, just get some of that oil off. Oh, I completely missed the inside part, Jose. But look at this. Yeah, I completely missed that. Yeah, that right there. Forget it. Forget it. All right. Let's cover this up. Number one mistake is leaving this open, or, in my opinion, and I see this a lot, mechanics will shove rags in here. Don't do that. Put tape. Sure, it's good tape that sticks well. And leave it there. Even if it leaves residue, you can clean it. A bit of brake clean, come right out. Because I've seen a lot of engines go down because we dropped something, didn't notice. And let that be the first thing you do as soon as you pull the manifold off. Okay, that's that. Don't you love these old school knock sensors? Single wire, look at them. Yeah, knock sensors don't look like that anymore. Look at this wire, single wire knock sensor. Yeah, these are the very old school knock sensors. They don't use these anymore. So here's what we got. Here's a starter. It's very nice. So we have this wire that connects to it right here. We have to, this is bolted to the starter right here. It's hard to see it when we pull it up. Maybe we'll show you. The 14mm bolts, I see them. We are cheating. This does have a little bit more room, and we don't have secondary air injection. Talk about that in a moment. Because if you have a GX470 or a Sequoia or a Tundra with secondary air injection, this will be 10 times harder, especially on a GX470. It's probably the worst one. But an LS430 and GS430, these are bad, not for the secondary air space. Let's remove the starter. So once you remove it, you kind of twist it and get because the connections are all the way at the bottom. There's one wire you can reach, but the bottom one, like if you look right here, right in this area, and when I point at it in editing, that's where the nut is. And it's impossible for you to undo it because it's literally sitting right against the block. So let's start loosening the starter, back it out, and then we'll get the wires and we'll get it out. We're gonna have to engineer our contraption. We have two bolts. One of them is the 12 for the harness, which is not gonna happen. Let's see. To reach this, something in the way. It's the harness is in the way, of course. And then disengage the harness to move it. Yeah, this moves this harness very little. Not really gonna help us. Let's see. I think that's all we needed. Just to move it a little bit to the side. I think my contraption is gonna work. No, it is not. I need to get a swivel socket. So, cancel that. Well, before we cancel that, let's see if we can get to the big one, the 14s. Think we can? Let's see. I'm on it. Okay. That's one. And the other one, I can't see it. And my socket is not going. Where are you? Oh, it's all the way completely off. There it is. There is a harness in the way. There it is. I think I can get it. Just if I just had like 3 hands. One to hold myself up. 1, 2. Where did you go? It disappeared on me again. See, this is the hard part. Not removing the manifold. Because you can't see anything. Now, this is not the worst one. You would really understand why mechanics don't get along with engineers when you do a GX470 starter. Okay, I have my hands on it. But the problem is once I put this, I no longer can have my hands on it. Where did you go? There it is. Come on. I don't think we're on it. Problem is I don't have a place to like rest my body on, so we can. There it is. Yeah, we don't have enough room for a ratchet. We need a short socket. Okay, round 2. We lost round 1. Oh, I almost fell. There's a problem, like I need to anchor my body somehow, get in there, find the bolt, which isn't this one, all the way down, try to get my socket on it, which keeps falling like that, so really have this wire that's in the way. There goes my glove. It's okay, I think the gloves are about to come off because things are getting serious. Nope, that's not gonna happen. So, I feel like this harness is like moving, but not moving as much as I'd like it to move. Oh man, it's like right there. When I put my hand, it's like wide open. But this is in the way. I wonder if we get a shorter ratchet. So it's not very tight from the factory. Let me see if I can get my newest addition to the crew, a stubby. Flex stubby or straight stubby? Let's try a straight. Oh wait, but this one's out of charge because I left it on the on position. Just joking. Snap-on makes this. They're trying to say there is you're putting something on or taking it off. I mean, if you really need that, it's yeah, no comment. Let's try this. Round 3. Yeah, really not looking good. Come on, you can do this. There's one wire that's in my way. Now I'm about to fall. Okay, that's better. Am I on it? Yes. Okay, maybe the stubby was a little too short. Let's see if I can just find the leverage to it. No. Stubby's too short. It's getting it. Jose's trying to help, but problem is you put anything bigger, can't get on it then. Let's see what the next one up is. I don't even know why we're wearing gloves right now, but trying. Let's try this one. This one is fully charged. Look, it's on the off position. Okay. Let's climb Mount Everest again. How did I do this last time? lean my arm here and then go digging. Where is it? Right there. Nope. Yes, no, maybe. Oh wow, we're actually on it. Good. Ah. Of course. We just said that it's not that tight. This one's super tight. There it is. That's it. See, that was not so bad. It's terrible. Still better than the 3UR. Good thing that's the old starter. It's loose. We're gonna try a new tool that I am quite happy we bought, but I'm very fascinated by it. Let me tell you a little secret. I've never seen it work good. So let's see if now is a saving grace. This is a cool power ratchet from Vessel. Vessel is it's actually a really nice Japanese company. They make like the Japanese style screwdrivers. That's what we buy from them. But this is a ratchet that they have that we had to import from Japan. Isn't this the coolest thing in the planet? Except when it doesn't work, which I am yet to find a situation where I said, aha, we're gonna use this one and it does work. Let's see if this is the time. And, I think we're a little bit beyond gloves at this point. Let's just do it. Curve in on the bolts. There it is. And I don't know where the switch is. I don't think we're on it. We are not. Okay, definitely. Oh, wow, it actually worked. I'm shocked. We're about to drop the bolt. There it is. Hello. The nice thing is, I feel like the engineers did know that this was going to be a disaster. They gave you a really long bolt. This is nightmare bolt number 1. And this one, not so bad. You can kind of see it. See this ratchet? That's how this works. And there goes the bolt, top of the transmission. There it is. Okay. So this tool does work, but it's not as, not what the technicians expect it to be. Let's put it this way. Okay, now, we actually have to get that 12 out. Now that it's out, you see that 12 right there? That's for the harness right there. I think I can get a wrench on it. There we go. Okay, maybe not cool. We get a wrench, wrench it out. Okay, see if I can loosen it. Of course, should have loosened it before we picked the starter. There we go. Oh, sorry. Sorry, just clumsy day. It's a good problem. This thing is worn. I have to hold it in place to get it to engage. Just trying to loosen it enough to be able to take it out by hand. Okay. Now I think I'm going to take this ground off. Now we can get to our ridiculous 12, which is still not an easy task, and this connector will 100% break. Yep, I was waiting for it to do that. That's fortunately the price of working on old cars. Things will get brittle and break. See, here's what we're trying to do right now, which is easier said than done. We're trying to flip this a little bit to get this cover open. This is an aux sensor wire. You kind of don't want to disconnect these. You want to open more cans of worms. You are really finding me right now. Push the starter in. Try to get this thing out. There. Pull the starter out. Turn it. I mean, look. We always harp on engineers, but why do you have to put it all the way at the bottom? Why can't it be just at the top? As soon as you take the manifold off, take the bolt out, and we're done. Why do you have to be all the way down there? Yeah. Let's get this last one out. Okay. This is where 3 hands would be nice. One hand to hold the starter. One hand. Oh, there we go. That's a much better spot. Come on. There we go. Be careful with our sensor wire. Yes! How'd you look at this big behemoth? We are victorious. Whew, it's been a long day. Yeah, 2 bolts. This is where they go. This is where the harness thing goes. And of course, this sits like this. It's like straight the engine. Maybe I understand that they had to do it this way because that's the construction of the starter. But I don't know. Maybe put a jumper here or something. Yeah, they don't. First step is to make sure that we actually got a correct starter. That would be a very bad way to find out and putting it in the car if it's the wrong starter. I mean, it wouldn't fit. Okay. Here's our new starter with the new gutters, which actually vents. Yeah, looks the same, except this one is a reman. I think they make new ones anymore for these. So, if you are following us DIY, got you through the hard part. Installation is a reverse order of removal. It's very simple. Yeah, that never goes that way. So remember how I told you the intake manifold removal? Folks think that's the hard part. I was actually removing the starter. Well, the very hard part is starting these 2 bolts. Yeah, let's just hope it doesn't give us a hard time, because I don't know how many fights my back has for today. It's just luck. Let's do this. There's something I dislike about these 3-man starters, and I'll share it with you. As I find, there it is. See, this nut is a turning nut. So when you tighten it, it's not going to twist the wire. This will stop and you will turn the nut itself. Okay? This one is completely, it's the same style, but this one is completely locked up. You tighten this one here, you're going to twist the wire and break the thing. I'm noticing that they used to really put good ones, but not anymore, so I'm going to use the old one. Okay. Let's reverse order of removal this, I think. So normally, when this car was like 5 years old, you can disconnect the knock sensors, get it out of your way. This makes it actually a little bit easier. We're gonna I don't want to risk that. Because the less connectors we break, the better. Stay. Let's see. Anchor. Yep. I'm gonna keep doing that all today, Jose. I'm sorry. It's just you're trying to show them, and I'm trying to do this, and kind of hanging upside down. I don't see you. Sorry, but it's gonna work slow. One disaster at a time. Gonna turn the starter. Try to get this harness to sit. A lot easier said than done. Especially when you're hanging upside down. Come on. There it is. Okay. Now, if I can just start it. Attempt to turn it. Tighten this. Okay. Now, I'm gonna connect this wire, and I'll show you what I'm gonna do to secure it. Basically, fortunately, it has old connectors. Oh, before we, hello, you got all excited. This will be this one, the yellow bolt for the harness here. So now we'll line up. Can do it. And yep, that's better. This job will test your patience. At this point, some technicians, unfortunately, well, not, I get it, will start throwing stuff. There'll be a lot of unpleasant words said. That's okay. It's not gonna make the job go any easier if you do that, so you'll feel better and start saying unpleasant things, but it ain't gonna make the job go easier. So okay, now the unpleasant part, the real unpleasant part. This could either go very well, or as a typical fashion, not very well. Starting these bolts can be a challenge because you have to put the bolt in and it doesn't want to start. Move the starter, hopefully it stays, because you have no idea if it's, yeah, it's not lined up. Now the starter's stuck. I'm also stuck. See, if you have three hands, one of them you use to hold yourself, one to hold the starter, and one to start the bolt. But last time I checked, we're not octopus. So let me try it. Nope. You know, we're gonna have Jose maybe be the third hand. I'll just kind of push the starter up. Hold on, let me.
Because I can't reach it.
Yep, that's welcome to the club, Jose. Let me engineer something. Maybe. Here we go. You just gotta think outside the box. We make a third hand by jamming a wrench here if it wants to do it. Let me figure something out. Impact? Who's gonna be my third hand?
Or if you give me something long, then I can.
Who's gonna be my third hand? Nobody. I think something long will work. This is not really heavy. There it is. Oh, it's gonna keep doing that on you. Now it knows that. See, this starter is like a kid. When it sees that you're about to win, it starts changing the strategy to it win. Yeah, right there. No. Yes, no. Yeah, let's start it. Okay. You know, I always tell you, do the hard part first. I didn't do that right now. I'm gonna pay for it. Because the other one is the real nightmare. Okay, push on it, Jose. Yeah, right there. Yep, they're both started. Sorry, I hit the camera. I think this will be... Jose, can we officially say that this is a record today? How many times I hit the camera? I think this will be the record. Done it before. So something about this... I mean, I'm trying to be nice, but it's a useless ratchet. Let's just try it again. If you want to flip the direction, just flip the whole thing. And we're going to give it a chance to redeem itself. One last time, because honestly, it's so weak. Yeah, there we go. Can't even pull the starter up. Run it down though. Oops, sorry. You know what Jose I think is gonna do? I know Jose what he's gonna do. He's gonna do in editing. He's gonna do a counter of how many times I hit the camera. So y'all would want to take your guesses, put them in the comments, and then we'll see if you're right with the final count of how many times I hit the cameras in this video. It's probably a new record, gotta say it. Yeah, this is useless. It comes apart, and yeah. Very cool though. In reality, it's actually useless. Because I understand why it is not strong. Because it's tiny. But at the same time, it's kind of like... that's kind of the whole point. I mean, if I'm going to run a bolt in a tight space, just use my Milwaukee. But, you know. Okay. Again. There you go. Going for the record. It's gonna keep happening until this part is done. I think this one is good. Next one. Just anchor myself. I have a feeling we're not on the right bolt. Oh wow, it's not even... Yeah, that vessel thing is a nice trophy on the wall, because it couldn't even run it halfway down, so what's the point? Well, I have a feeling we're just going back and forth. We are just going back and forth. Yeah. switch arms. Oh, I lost the bolts. There it is. Octopus mode. .12 socket right now would be great. Oh, the socket doesn't. There it is. Okay. Okay. I am just gonna. I think the other side is not very tight because I need a deep socket. Okay. Correct socket acquired. Octopus mode. Yeah, that's good. I ain't going nowhere. Let's put our ground back over here. This. Take our useless tool. That's very cool. Oh, that actually rhymes. Useless tool, that is very cool. Sorry, Vessel. Love your stuff, but this is like a toy. This is what I call a YouTube tool. Looks like $1 million on a video, but it's actually useless. That's because wait, where do we have a ratchet that has a small head that can tighten stuff? Tool review moment. That's why I don't do tool reviews. I'm sorry. That is a very small difference. That is tiny and it's really not powerful at all. While this thing is, yeah. This has been through stuff. Very cool though. It's very nice. Well, should we call it? Well, before we call it, let's do one last thing. We're gonna call it. The hard part is over. Folks, if you have a GX470, I'm just gonna warn you. And same thing with Sequoia, like a later UZ Sequoia, and even the Tundra. This is a 10 times harder on those. And not because, I mean, this is as hard as it is, but not because of the reach, same problem. But on those, you'll have secondary air injection valves right there. The pump is not hard. The bypass valve in the middle is not hard. But the two valves in the back, they're actually part of this bypass pipe. See this bypass pipe all the way in the back? This one? They're part of it. So you have to drain coolant and pull that in order to get to the back area where the bolts are. I mean, just removing these valves alone is a little bit of a nightmare. So the starter even takes the nightmare to the next level. Well, should we say it again? Installation is reverse order of removal. Actually, at this point, it's not really bad. The only thing we gotta do is the connector for the starter. Look, when you engage this connector, it's like a pronged connector that has pressure on it. That's kind of a secondary safety. The reason I'm not replacing that connector is because lately with these old Toyotas, we're noticing when you go to replace the connector, just by you trying to get the pin out of it and maneuver the wire actually insulation just falls off. We can't, because now you try to go beyond that, the insulation just falls apart. So I'd rather leave them alone, but can't just leave them the way they are. We're gonna put a little bit of sealer, like for oil pans, whatnot, fippage, the form in place gasket, right on top of the connector where it connects to the starter, because that's not glue. It's gonna hold it, and it's really good with vibration. It doesn't dries up or whatnot. It doesn't like get brittle and break. But if you want to remove it in the future, you just pull it, it'll break the seal and it comes right out. So that's for that. So you pretty much have seen the pain and suffering that this is. It's not fun. But I want to put you guys on a time lapse as we put it back together, because my back is not working. I'm gonna need Jose's help. Let's talk about mechanics and engineers, as we put this thing back together and give it a start, I don't think we're going to have time for the alternator because it's getting pretty late. This thing's taking a little longer than we anticipated, but let's talk about that. So, I do have a confession, and sorry for the different audio volumes and different everything, because this is a confession. So, at the end of the day, today is Friday. I am preparing the video to be released Saturday, which is where you're viewing it right now. The moment we are about to leave, Jose usually puts the hard drives for me. I take them home, review the video that we already edited. It's ready to go. Jose asked me 2 minutes before we go home, "Hey, do you need the microphones? Are you recording in a voiceover?" I'm like, no, I don't have voiceover. We're all set. Just simple video. He's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, yeah. And I was like, "Hey, let's go home. Yeah, I had this part that I forgot. That's what you were referring to. So, sorry, Jose. Yeah, you were right. Anyways, so it's 2 o'clock in the morning right now as I record this. It's actually 2:12 a.m. I am not going to go drive to the shop right now and get the microphone, get all the equipment. So I makeshift something, and here we go. Well, going away from that, I want to tell you one thing. Look, engineers and mechanics, we always don't get along. Folks, here's the reality. Engineers don't design things intentionally to be difficult. That's just not the case. It's not really up to them how they design things. They're given a task by the manufacturer. Here's the budget. Here's what we need to do. Here are the priorities. Do your job. And sometimes they'll come up with designs and they just get rejected because this is too complicated to make. This is unnecessary. We don't need to do this. We're not worried about service. Of course, service is not their thing. Folks, cars are engineers. They get their tasks from the manufacturer, and usually these tasks revolve around how do we do this the most efficient way that doesn't cost us a fortune, and more importantly, how do we assemble this car at the lowest cost and the highest speed. That's what the engineering department is worried about. And it's not even the same engineering department that designed this component or designed this engine or designed this car. That's a whole different department. So that's the reality. And the second reality is, as much as me and my brother is just really go hard on engineers sometimes. Why would you design stuff like that? Why would they design stuff like that? We're also professionals, and that's part of our job to fix cars. If it was easy, we would be out of a job, and we are paid accordingly. So that's the reality. We always go hard on engineers, but some designs, like this one, when the engine was sitting on an engine stand, this sounded like the greatest idea. I mean, it's right there. It's a great place. It's hidden. It's safe. It's great. Just pull the intake manifold. The bolts are very accessible. But the person that designed this did not know what engine this car is going to go in. A very different department decided, okay, here's how we're going to make this engine that was already engineered and designed fit in this car. And another department decided, okay, here's how we're going to do this so we can assemble these cars at the factory. So, yes, the engineer that designed this did not intend this to be this way. Let's put it this way. And I have a theory. Why does this V8 have the starter under the engine, like in the middle underneath the intake manifold? I actually have a theory on that, because that makes the engine balanced. Because there's something about the UZ series engine that it is super smooth. I mean, it's exceptionally smooth. Even when you have bad engine mounts, they are smooth. And the reason for that is it's a balanced engine. You don't have things hanging from one side and nothing on the other side. And I think that has to do with it. So, brief history on the UZ engine. The original version of the UZ series engine, the 1UZ FE that came out in '89, just kind of started Lexus. That engine in 1997 was actually approved for airplane use. And that starter being where it is makes it a balanced engine. It's not one side heavy or the other. I have a feeling that has something to do with it. I mean, if you work in the aviation industry, is that a thing? Do the engines have to be balanced where they don't have a lot of weight on one side and nothing on the other side? I mean, I'm assuming that matters. I'm just thinking about it logically. So I feel like that's why they were wanting to get the certification, and that was part of the original design, and it just stayed. Because all UZ series engines have the starter underneath the intake manifold, exactly in the middle. And the way that back of that starter is designed, it's like a perfect triangle, almost like they're trying to balance it. That's the way I see it. But folks, going back to it, if you're an automotive engineer, I apologize if we came hard, but you know, that's what mechanics do. Mechanics grumble and complain because this job is not easy. It's taxing on your body, it's taxing on your mind. It pushes your skills, it challenges them to the limit. That's the problem. And then when you add age and wear and brittle plastic and brittle components and all that, and then couple that with currently the climate of automotive repair and automotive technicians in 2025, where they're really pushed to the limit, not really compensated well, and just cars keep getting complicated and complicated, and everybody expects mechanics to just know everything about everything. That's what starts the frustration. I mean, unfortunately, I'm going to speak on behalf of my brothers. Unfortunately, majority of mechanics are not happy doing what they do. I enjoy what I do, but there are moments where it's very challenging and it's hard to stay happy. And I get that, but that's part of the job. In the end, we have to look at it both ways. We chose this career and we have to find the joy in it, because there is nothing more joyous to a mechanic than when the car's fixed. You feel that sense of pride. I fixed this car. After all this hard work, car's fixed, running great. The owner of the car will be happy. It feels great. It's a great feeling. That's what I'm going to leave with you. So no hard feelings to our engineers. Just try not to do stuff like that. I know you don't do it intentionally, but try not to. How about that? Let's agree to disagree on that one part, even though you don't do it intentionally, but you know. We made it. Moment of truth. Does it work? Let's find out. Here it goes. It's not going to start because the coolant sensor is disconnected technically. It's going to run really rough. Let's give it a little bit of gas. Well, that's another problem for tomorrow, because right now the temperature sensor is reading very, very hot because it's open circuit, so it won't enrich to start the engine. So, we have the sensor on order, but starter works. This is the beauty of working on cars. We're doing a starter. We started with a starter. Then the almost 30, see, I said it's over 20 years, it's almost 30 years. Almost 30 years of things, the brittle sensor broke. I was really hoping we can at least get it to move, so we can move it until the sensor comes in. Now we're going to have to push it, because I don't want to keep pushing it with this, because it's basically the car is stone cold, and the computer thinks it's almost overheating. So it's not going to go in enrichment mode, which means the engine will barely start. As soon as you warm it up, it'll run perfectly fine, but we're not going to push it that way, because actually that's not good for it. But folks, this is the fun part. But even as much fun as this is, the next V8 engine is worse. A lot worse. That one is just, they were either not thinking or they were just making revenge for folks that complain about this one. Flat out, because it's worse. And the best part is, starter being in that area, they don't fail as much. Folks, we do a lot more UR series starters on much newer cars than we do UZ series starters. I mean, I don't even recall the last one. Most of them are preventative. This one is preventative. This alternators is preventative on this car, but they don't really go out as much as folks sometimes make them out to be, because it could be in the worst spot in the world, but if it doesn't go out as often, well, it's not so bad. She's not replacing it every 10 years. Folks, I kind of wish this would be a little bit of a better note, because the car doesn't want to start, because that sensor is... That's just part of it. That's part of the fun. That's the best part. And now, as I say that, I just came to a moment of realization. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? I got a sensor right there. I mean, this engine is not going to run tomorrow. We can at least put the sensor on and get it started. Be right back. Shall we try this again? Sorry. Yes! It works! I'm just gonna come flat out and say it. Kind of hurt my pride that the car didn't start after all the work we did, so we had to do something. However, we have to say something. This is a sensor that broke. It's actually not the exact same sensor because the connector was a little bit different. So what I actually did, I jumpered it because we're obviously going to replace the sensor. I'm not going to take a sensor. This is my engine, so I can take a sensor from it if I need to, but not going to do that. I want to put the right sensor and a brand new one for the customer. But it runs. It runs. There's something you need to know about this in case you are doing one of these sensors. You don't actually have to drain the coolant. Just put a rag. You're going to get a few drips. Make sure the car is cold. That's the main thing. It's not hot because it's going to come with force. Maybe take the radiator cap off just a little bit, then put it on. Don't leave it off. That releases some of the pressure in case there's any. But you're going to get a few drips and that's it because this is a high point in the engine. Folks, this job is done. We are going to wait for that sensor. We are going to replace the alternator and this car is ready for another adventure. How about that? Folks, I hope this video was helpful and informative. I hope you learned something new. If you like it, consider giving it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing to the channel. Check out some other videos. Until the next video, folks, may the Lord bless you and keep you, and you have yourself a wonderful day.